Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Opinionated SEO Opinions. This time we are together with Renee Gerard from Crate and Barrel Holdings to discuss enterprise SEO. Welcome, Renee.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me here today virtually. Super excited to be here, even though I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. So just bear with me. My voice is not usually this raspy and handsome.
Hey, it's sultry. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah. And a warm welcome to our hosts, Tori Gray and Sam Torres. Hello, ladies.
Hello. So Renee, let's hear about you. What's your background?
Sure. Yeah. So I started in SEO a long time ago, about 2011. I was a college intern making a lot of mistakes at a local agency. I remember I was writing about the rolling hills of every single city in Wisconsin for Travel Wisconsin and accidentally deploying ad copy live. Oops. So that was really just what started my introduction to SEO and digital. Decided I loved agency, ended up going to another agency, staying there for about 8 years and really specialized in e-commerce SEO. And I was really lucky because I got the full gamut of different clients, from like your family owned for 20 plus year pure plays to your Fortune 500s. And it was just so exciting during that time, getting to battle the penguins, the pandas, oh my, all the animals. But ultimately I was decided that, I'm ready to commit. Let's house. So as of January 2020, I'm now overseeing all of Crate and Barrel Holdings, including Crate and Barrel, CP2, and Hudson Grace for the SEO team.
Amazing. So I think the first question would be, what is your favorite part of the job as an e-commerce SEO?
Well, for this role, the employee discounts definitely. But really, it's just so exciting as an SEO to be able to see the product side of things and get to be part of the merchandising process. I don't think that's really a common scenario for enterprise e-commerce SEOs. And I just personally love learning about, interior and of course, supporting just an iconic brand. Like we're talking about 60 years in the making, a company that started in Chicago and they forgot the cash register, forgot the little, the stands for the product. So they were like, let's use the crates and the barrels. That's literally what it came from, like this scrappy company to just iconic, timeless brand. So it's just, product's just fun. And it's a nice thing to remember when we're just all having a tough day, especially as SEOs, where I always say, like, once a quarter, I just want to flip my table over and say I'm done with SEO. But I try to just come back and say, you know what, we're still just selling teapots and making homes, really beautiful for folks. So that definitely helps to stay grounded.
I feel like I have that feeling just about, so definitely had it this week, because I think it was this week. Google announced their October broad core update, and I'm just like, are you really again? Okay. September was already like, we had so many updates, and then now
we're so close to Black Friday. Like,
y'all, we'd be tired.
They love doing the updates right around holiday. They're like, oh, 80% of your revenue comes from here e-commerce. Boom, here's an algo update for you. And then it's like, it's almost like a joke. I feel like someone needs to make it an SNL skit, like no further details provided. That's it.
I love that.
Yeah, all the last minute scrambles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's amazing that you, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say that the connection that you made with the brand and like owning it was really like sounds and pours over. So like, I think at this point I would ask, what is the hard thing about your role that really makes you want to flip those tables?
Great question. So for me, it's difficult when the organization is large and the SEO adoption is so high. Like, don't get me wrong, this is still a dream role for any SEO who wants to be involved because we're really integrated into pretty much every aspect of business operations. But that means our time is the most precious, commodity that we can provide. My team is actually supporting up to 14 different groups. That's across US, Canada, and international. And we're really trying to provide the full gamut of SEO functions, from local, the product side, technical, creating content, and not just any content, but an SEO driven content strategy. So it's really tough because we constantly have to reprioritize. And I always tell my team, like, we have to focus on what are really in our circles of control and influence, because the rest we just can't, we have to let that go. And it's really tough as SEOs, where I think we're like the janitors of the internet. We're just constantly like sweeping things up. Like, it's like nobody notices you're there unless something's wrong. And then, we seem to have our hands in all the cookie jars. So it's definitely tough when you're definitely in high demand. The organization already knows SEO matters. You don't have to convince them. But that now means you have to be protective of your own time and focus on the highest impact tasks that will make a difference, because we could do everything.
Interesting. Yeah, I love that about because definitely not having to spend time educating on the value of your role, or like, I guess just kind of validating what it is you're doing, definitely sounds like a dream spot for many SEOs. Because I feel like every single survey that comes out, that's probably like the number one place where SEOs spin their wheels and spend time. So I love hearing like, okay, once you get there,
it's still gonna be hard.
Yeah, it's but also I really do like your action item of focus your time on what really matters, or the things that you can actually control. Like, if you're just beating down the door and trying to get this technical debt cleaned up, that's going to take dev 400 hours. Like, it's probably not the best use of your time. Like, focus on really what you can do. I think that's a really, really key action point to take. So
exactly. Cool. What's better? Cleaning up your XML sitemap so there's absolutely no dirt, or like hreflang type tags, which nobody wants to do, and even Google's like, we don't really care, right? Or like, let's build automation, scaling across the organization, making sure we're showing up in every aspect of the customer journey, like unlocking that long tail. Like, that's everything for e-commerce. Or like building modular content that's genuinely helpful to the customer to make their decision. I think we went through a time where there was like a technical SEO renaissance, but I think we're in that next level where it's really about being product led, and being product led means being customer led. And we just have to see SEO from a customer's perspective, so that when we are working with a product team and it's like, okay, you got this many tickets in the sprint, what do you want me to do? We're really picking the right things and not being like so pure of like, gotta get rid of this technical, SEO debt. Like, yeah, it probably will eat over time and be death of 1,000 paper cuts, don't get me wrong. But if it's not something that's like, if we don't fix this tomorrow, everything is going to be, like, we're going to lose money, we're going to lose visibility, then I think that's where the focus needs to be. Like, scalable, modular, automation, insert buzzword here. Let's, not page speed, but speed to execution wins for enterprise.
Interesting.
And it's a shift from like to pragmatism, from perfectionism, or kind of the OCD nature that I would argue a lot of SEOs have. We're technical, detailed people. We want things to feel done, that this is done, that I feel confident in this and I can move on. And like, you just don't. You just have to, okay, I have to move on. It's okay. That's not the biggest thing. I have to move on. It's an interesting challenge. But it's the right move for the business, of course.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. Perfectionism,
sure
not gonna help anybody really at the end of the day. Pragmatism definitely is gonna be the right approach, especially in these times.
Yeah.
Speaking of these times, I would love to know more about e-commerce and Black Friday now. So I've worked a lot in depth in e-commerce historically, but I know things are evolving so much in the last few years and this year. So I'd really love to hear your perspective on how Black Friday and planning and e-commerce in general might be more hard or more challenging for people that aren't in the day-to-day and maybe don't understand the full scope of what's happening right now.
Oh, I love this question. It's so juicy, because I think now more than ever is the right time for us to take a step back and really look at the state of the world, like the macro level trends, because SEOs are facing the most headwinds I think we've probably ever experienced from the e-commerce perspective. I was at a conference last week in New York City for Botify, and one of the keynotes was talking about how we're actually in the first, what he's calling digital drought in over a decade, right? Like all of e-commerce is struggling. Like this is the time for us to, again, take a step back and like build some empathy for what SEOs are up against and all of e-commerce, because we're all experiencing loss. Even Amazon and Target, as good as they're doing, you plug them into any SEO tool, you can see the decline in traffic, right? So understanding the whys and picking that apart, and then going back to those circles of influence, like what is within our control and what's not, because what's out of our control, like that bucket is getting bigger, I would say, more than ever. And one of the biggest themes I'm seeing is with this value mindset that customers have. So Google came out with a report recently about like holiday trends, and they said that customers are pushing towards value mindset, but in terms of all the things that they could care about for purchasing behavior, quality is still number one. Oh, so they want the cheapest price, yet they want it to be high quality. And I understand it, right? Because with inflation not slowing down and the housing market, not in a good spot, people want things that are going to last, but they also want to save that money for the most part. Unless you're in like the high income area, then you're spending on luxury, you don't care, you're doing well. That's what we're noticing. So this value mindset, super challenging for SEOs, because how do we help propel the brand towards capturing like the value of like an affordability of the product compared to why we're the best, why are we quality, why are we worth the money?
Yep.
Right. And middle of the road type folks, like if you're just like in the middle of luxury or value, they're the ones where I think it's going to be a really big struggle, because customers are smart and they're probably going to pivot. They're probably going to figure out like, all right, where's my dollar going towards this holiday season? Do I need to pivot and go luxury because there is that perception of quality, therefore cost per use be better from a sustainability perspective? Or do I go the value route and just go for whatever is cheap as possible? It's good enough. But this is going to be that time where like we're really going to see the winners from the losers, unfortunately. And we all just have to really brace ourselves, because it is expected that holiday is going to be really tough for e-commerce, especially for all the brands fighting their inventory glut, which should be everyone, because we all bought last year to try and supply for the increase in demand. And now we're all sitting on too much inventory, plus the supply chain issues on top of it, right? The pressure is high, very high to move product, move the inventory glut. And how do you do that? Promos. That's it. And now the customers, with all these other macro tailwinds that are happening, or I'm sorry, headwinds that are happening, they're now saying, I'm going to wait for a promo, right? Look at Amazon, 2 Prime days. That doesn't happen because it was just that great.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm hearing about a lot of macro issues here. So we've got supply chain, we've got inflation, we've got a relatively mature e-commerce market where more people are buying online than ever before. There's more competition than before. Are there other factors to consider here just to understand the big picture of what's happening and why today?
Yeah, absolutely. Besides like the customer behavior, which is changing search demand due to the state of the world, besides all of that, then there's Google. Our favorite topic. What would we do without them? Better question, what would they be without us? Because we're literally building
Also
Google.
true. Very true.
Right? So Google is making it harder than ever to be an SEO in e-commerce right now. It is, I mean, this is nothing new. Like Google's been, like there's been the content wars since like what, maybe, I don't know, 2013, when Google started coming out with featured snippet for the first time, or knowledge panel.
Yeah.
The content wars are nothing new, but it is getting worse. It's definitely getting worse. Like Google's struggling. So what are they trying to do? Let's keep more people on Google, right? And they're releasing all these algorithms, going back on their word too, by the way. They said, oh, we're not going to do back to back to back algos. We're not going to do you like that. And now we're going on the 4th in a month.
Yeah. It's great. It's a really fun time. It's not stressful at all.
Yeah.
Looking at our faces, I can really tell. Sorry for the podcast listeners. But you would be enjoying these looks on YouTube quite a lot.
Yeah.
There's no sarcasm.
You know what's worse too? It's not helpful for the customer. Like if I'm a customer right now and I want to go out and buy a sectional sofa, I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to search for it, and Google's just shoving these affiliate articles, the wire cutters, which by the way, fantastic job to the SEOs, they're doing amazing, but they're like the silent killer in my opinion, because it's not that they're like a major SEO share of voice player, it's that they're chipping away at e-com's share of voice little by little, and it, especially for desktop, I don't know if you've noticed, but those articles are being surfaced more often for like an e-commerce or ambiguous intent product keyword on desktop than mobile, making it even harder for e-commerce players to even rank.
Yeah, I'm unclear at this point, honestly. Like, is this something Google is really struggling with, or do they think users are happy with this? Because I, as a user, personally, anecdotally, am not happy with these articles. They're not useful and helpful. They don't actually have insight or expertise. Let's talk about the EAT. Like, they don't have it. They're just spinning crap. And it's hard to wade through, but it's happening so much. And it's like, is Google's 4 updates trying to fight against that and struggling, and they're just not doing it as effectively? Or do they think that this is what people, what's your sense?
I think Google has shifted intent for keywords around product so that when anyone is searching a product keyword, they are automatically assuming that the intent is to find the best. I think best is really the
elusive best, the undefinable best, because best is different for everyone.
Exactly. So Google is moving from like search engine, now they're like answer engine, action and whatever, but they're really trying to be a shopping engine, right? We see that all the time with the e-commerce results and the SERP features that they're coming out with. They're really trying to keep you on Google. And like Google, I think you can check out directly from Google now too.
For some products, yeah.
Right. So I think best as a keyword is oversaturating all of e-commerce, and I'm sure even outside of e-commerce industries, and publishers know that, right? So they are cranking out that content. And Google's like patent for SERP diversity is going to boost those players in the name of diversity, right? And that's again just stealing away at the e-commerce results. Another thing I'm noticing is that Google is showing a lot of like the low cost providers, which I know is a couple different factors here. But if you notice like the product packs that are like taking over every one of my SERPs, it's like all cheap, affordable, under $100. Have you noticed that? Like those little packs that come out?
And they're all like, not all, but a lot of them are from sketchy brands that I'm really scared that I'm like, I've bought things and they didn't send me things, and I've bought things and they sent me things that were obviously nothing like what was pictured. And I've been fortunate to be able to get refunded on all of those things, but not all consumers are. They're sketchy, and they're not fighting that fight, I'd argue, well enough either.
Or they're always the brands where I'm like, I have to wait 8 weeks for this to show up, and you didn't tell me that until I checked out.
It's because they're marketplace.
Yeah, I would agree it's not great. Even just like anecdotally, I was trying to research a digital notebook that Roxana had suggested to me. I did end up buying it, but like just trying to do the research on the product and like see some real reviews and use cases and like how are people, other professionals like me using it. It took a long time for me to find. And I'm like, all I do is Google all day. One of my favorite sayings to my friends is that my Google foo is strong. And I definitely feel like with the changes we're seeing, like I'm not finding the type of content that I actually want to.
Well, there's a reason the on Reddit, qualifier on all of your queries is a thing, because Google is struggling to give relevant, real, authentic content these days.
Yeah. And Gen Z, they're figuring it out, because what are they doing? They're using TikTok as a search engine. What do they say, 40% or something? I 100% believe that number is going to grow even more.
Because I think so too, because honestly, like there have been times where I've been driven to TikTok and I'm in my mid-30s. Like I'm not supposed to be there, but
and just last week, Google said, I'm sorry, TikTok, oh my gosh, TikTok said they're going to compete with Amazon with a distribution center.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Because people use TikTok for discovery, but they don't trust it to buy off of it.
Yes. Well,
that makes
there
sense.
are concerns that are valid with TikTok. So that is very interesting.
Another trend with Gen Z, which I think is so fascinating, I learned this from one of my college interns. She's fantastic. So she told me that she's basically training herself to go to page 2 of Google, because even though we're trained to think like, oh, where do you hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. She trusts those results more because she knows page 1 is going to be full of pay to plays and the big, box.
Yeah.
The Amazon targets of the world. And she doesn't want that. She wants something unique.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is just a struggle to find something unique. Like, so when we talk about accessibility, it's an interesting thing, because I think on the whole brands could be doing a much better job describing their products to help people find it. But when I'm looking for a very specific thing, I will use very specific queries, and I continually get the same crap again and again that looks exactly like it. That's not what I'm looking for. So I will add qualifiers of like, the sleeves need to be this way, or this detail needs to be on this shoe, and it weirdly doesn't work. So there's like are we as SEOs not doing a good enough job adding that information? Or are we just going after the data about what people are looking for and just adding the top 5 things that's not the long tail? That's another interesting thing to me, especially in the world of Pinterest. Like people are adding all sorts of tags. There's a reason Pinterest took over image search, even though they are obviously struggling today.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because like most of the, let's not say most of the brands, but quite a few brands struggle to see the world from the user's perspective. Maybe they don't really care about their users, or they just want to automate things and just push data from here and there, and they just look at the data. And since they don't see that much like valuable insights when it comes to zero-click searches, they're like, not going to take care of this.
Yeah, could be. Or, I think also there's plenty of times in enterprise companies where you just don't have the manpower.
Yeah.
Like SEO teams, I feel, are so underserved sometimes for these big organizations. Like, I mean, it's crazy to me. You definitely have like Forbes 25 companies have 1 or 2 SEOs in their entire organization.
Yeah.
It's like you employ 50,000 people around the world, and only 2 of those are associated with SEO. Like it's wild to me how undervalued SEO is for some of these major e-commerce companies from the top. So love what you're talking about with, it sounds like Crate and Barrel Holdings is like bought in. They understand that is the machine that returns for them. Also, I'd like to flip it a little bit if we can, because I feel like we're very doom and gloom, and would love to so Renee, what I'm hearing from you is like definitely take the time to educate, communicate across internal teams of like, hey, these are the factors that are going on that we're fighting against. But any other tips you have for like how people can really action this and weather this storm, or what can they take away from this and feeling maybe a little bit encouraged instead of just defeated?
Yeah, but to extend on that, like, how is Crate and Barrel and how is e-commerce as a whole reacting to a world where there is Black Friday, but there's also Toon Prime days and there's also Wayfair Day now? Like, what are you doing actionably, or what do you see the industry doing?
That you're allowed to share.
Yeah. Okay, I love this question because it's not all doom and gloom. It is a tough place to be in, but as from e-commerce perspective, there is a resurgence and return to stores. So have you noticed, like, Warby Parker, they added all these new stores, a few other retailers. I think Wayfair started trying some of their first storefronts as well. Like, people want to be out. You know, we were home and that was great, and now we want to be out. So there is an opportunity, and Google knows that because I think they've been finding more opportunities to inject local search results in Universal. I feel like there's been a pretty nice increase. So there is an opportunity for brands as a whole to focus on having a superior customer experience within the store, and as SEOs for us to focus on omni-channel strategies that are fact-based, that work, right? So local SEO, like, I feel like that's always the forgotten piece. It's like, oh, no, it just kind of works. People just figure out what the hours are. Like, no, it's so much more than that, right? For example, CV2, this is not a marketplace. This is not a huge brand. It's, significantly smaller than Crate and Barrel. On page 1 for the keyword furniture store.
Wow, that's good for you.
And even
get it, girl.
Crate and Barrel, yes. You know what I mean? It is possible to still win. And I think having that local angle, if you are omni-channel, is an amazing opportunity, and finding ways to take you from searching online to going to the store. BOPS, gift from above, right? Like, buy online, pick up in store. This is how people avoid shipping costs, annoying returns. You get to work with an expert. You get that instant gratification. I'm going to get that product that day, right? So we've had to be agile and adapt. And I think the return to stores still provides a large opportunity for SEOs to help make that connection. I mean, heck, who knew that QR codes were going to come back?
I know, right?
Like, anything can still happen. So I love that connection that we can have from a store operations perspective, local SEO, and how are we helping make the customer happy, because customers are happy when they go to the stores.
I love that. And I think what you're saying, though, I love it, because it does feel like, just as a consumer, I like buy online, pick up in store, because then that also tells me that I'm going to get it. Because obviously all the supply chain issues we've had, it's been so frustrating to, like, put an order for something and then get the email like, oh, that's on back order. Or to go to a store and it's like, you don't have anything that I'm looking for. Like, I think the other day I was in CVS just trying to buy allergy medicine for my daughter, and they were just like, out. I'm like, how is this all out right now? And then checking the hours, I feel like now more than ever, I'm like, I don't even know what store hours are anymore. Like, I used to, but it changed. I mean, at one point, I'm in the South, so Waffle House closed. Like, they close at night sometimes now. I'm like, I don't know what is real anymore, because Waffle House was always like, you're open on Christmas, you're open on Thanksgiving Day, like, you've always got me. And now as a consumer, I'm just like, I couldn't tell you when the store closes. I have no idea how long we have until we need to go. Like, I think all those things that we were like, oh yeah, this store is open 12 to 6 on Sundays. Like, I couldn't tell you anymore. Who knows?
I mean, and that's also assuming you can trust the times that are on their Google My Business profile, because people put those up and then they forget about them. And I can't tell you how many times they've gone somewhere and they're like, oh, those aren't accurate. Or even like the numbers on the door are not accurate. Like, yes, these are times and things are complex and varied, but like, I'm beating my head against the wall. I'm trying to give you money right now. Please tell me when I can do this, because I've got a full-time job, I've got a kid, I've got a life, I've got to do. Come on.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. You know what, Tori, you know what else people totally miss the mark? Just like basic sale SEO, good old sale SEO. It's just such a miss. Like, we have seen in like really, really strong results just by doing small tweaks. Like, let's say the word sale. Like, is it in store? Is it online? Like, why are you making me guess? Like, just tell the people. Just tell the people what is the sale. Optimize for the word sale. Everybody will be better off, right? And it was not so confusing, and just, I think it's been way too difficult nowadays to understand. Like, is this a real sale or is this a fake sale? It's from last year. Can't
Is
tell.
this a sale on 3 items? And I didn't notice that from the email. So now I have 3 things in cart, and PS, none of them are on sale. And I thought they all were. And now I'm pretty peeved at you.
Or I feel like, honestly, Prime Day has really made me almost distrust some of the sales and promos. It's like we've all seen the articles that come out that tell you, like, actually, if you look at what the price of this item was on Amazon 3 months ago, it was actually the same. They've just been hiking it up so that they can mark it down.
Yeah, they can just put the MSRP and whatever they want and then say, look, it's 40% off because I made it.
So it's just very like, is this true? Basically what we're saying is we don't trust the internet. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
No, Sam, you're right. You're right. These early Black Fridays that literally just came out 2 weeks from brands, are they really? Are they really? Or is this an SEO trade, a marketing trick? I think we do, as consumers, we have to be conscious of those decisions, and our eyes are open, right? And now more than ever, like, SEOs are going to be getting on that, that train. Okay, let's show value, let's show quality, let's show these sales, let's show local, right? But there's only so far you can fake it too. So it kind of, unfortunately, it comes down to, like, the customer to know how to make that best decision, do their own research, right?
Exactly.
And that's not easy for people to do. People just want it. Don't give me a 1 minute video and I'm sold, right?
Exactly. Yes. So much yes.
Yeah. The little details go a long way. But how do you do those at scale? I mean, enterprise, how do you get that right? That's a super fun challenge.
Scaling, yes. It's like the key word of every meeting. How can we go faster? How can we automate? How can we scale?
The new synergy, the new levels.
Exactly. Oh, yes. We have to find the balance, though. We have to find the synergy in between what is, what can be scaled and just truly automated, and what has to be like that manual touch, because that really does separate us from, like, Sam, to your point, a lot of these like low cost retailers that are out there, and they're not really putting too much effort. It's just kind of like the spray and pray. Like, let's just, we're just going to launch tens of millions of pages and litter the internet. We don't care because we'll still rank. Like, finding that balance and that sweet spot, I do think that is a differentiator, and it's a reflection of the brand, and going back to being customer led.
Very cool.
Well, this was amazing.
So,
thank you so much for coming in and taking the time with us. This has been really insightful, learning about the challenges of modern enterprise e-commerce, and e-commerce as a whole is a brand new world. So we're looking at
world today.
Yeah,
shifting again. Buckle up. Here we go.
Always keeping it interesting for us.
That's true. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You.
And yes, that's a wrap for everyone who are listening and watching us. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Opinionated SEO Opinions. I'll see you next time. Bye.